A tense moment occurred during the day one Soundcheck in Chicago when Jimin appeared to experience discomfort after executing a jumping move. Upon landing, his facial expression instantly changed. Jimin winced while holding his ankle, immediately drawing the attention of Jungkook, who was standing nearby. The music was still playing at the time, and the choreography was supposed to continue. However, Jungkook did not seem willing to take any risks. He raised his hand high into the air as a signal for the music to stop. The signal was firm, as if Jungkook wanted to ensure the entire team realized there was a situation that needed to be checked first. Once the music stopped, Jungkook immediately approached Jimin. Without waiting long, he even knelt down in front of Jimin to examine his ankle. This gesture quickly shifted the atmosphere of the session, which had been filled with energy, into a much more serious mood as all attention turned to Jimin's condition. What caught people's attention was how Jungkook seemed to put aside instructions to continue the session. When staff members appeared to give directions to keep the session going, Jungkook chose to prioritize checking on Jimin instead. Continuing the rehearsal was clearly not his priority upon seeing his teammates showing signs of pain. Jimin himself tried to remain calm after the incident. However, his wincing expression and the way his hands repeatedly touched his ankle area made the concern even more obvious. Jungkook kept watching Jimin's reaction, wanting to ensure there was no severe pain forcing him to remain standing or moving. The moment became one of the main highlights during the day one soundcheck in Chicago. For fans watching, Jungkook's spontaneous action demonstrated how quickly he could shift his focus when seeing Jimin in discomfort. There was no hesitation in his movement when he signaled to cut the music. Jungkook's reaction also showed the caring side of a member who refused to take risks with his teammates' health. While soundcheck is an essential part of preparing for the main concert, Jungkook chose to pause the moment he saw Jimin enduring pain to make sure everything was safe. This simple gesture felt powerful because it happened naturally, not as part of any choreography. After Jimin's condition was checked, attention eventually turned back to the preparations for the main show. However, the image of Jungkook stopping the music and kneeling to check Jimin's ankle left a lasting impression on fans. Amid the massive preparations for the Chicago stage, Jungkook's swift action served as a reminder that safety and Jimin's well-being remained far more important than merely finishing a sound check rehearsal. As soon as the music cut out, Jungkook closed the distance and knelt right in front of Jimin. He was seen inspecting Jimin's foot while carefully watching his expression. The scene instantly transformed the standard practice session into a moment filled with worry. Jungkook showed no rush to return to his position. His focus remained entirely on Jimin, who was still standing while protecting his ankle. This highlighted Jungkook's desire to verify whether Jimin could move comfortably before allowing the sound check to proceed. Jungkook's position, kneeling directly in front of Jimin, became one of the most striking details of the event. On the vast stage, the two seemed isolated from the surrounding practice environment. Jungkook kept monitoring Jimin's state while Jimin accepted the care, trying his best to stay composed. The moment felt all the more emotional because just seconds earlier, Jimin had been executing the choreography with high energy. There was no indication that the mood would shift so suddenly. Yet, right after the landing that made him wince, Jungkook's focus instantly pivoted from the dance to Jimin's well-being. Jungkook seemed determined to make sure that the pain Jimin felt was not something requiring further immediate medical intervention. He didn't just stop the music from afar. He personally went over to inspect Jimin's condition up close. This made his action feel genuinely spontaneous and personal. For fans witnessing the scene, Jungkook's attentiveness was impossible to overlook. The soundcheck, usually filled with RMY's cheers and the members' energy, suddenly quieted down as Jungkook knelt before Jimin. Everyone's focus converged on a single question: was Jimin okay? This moment highlighted a side of concert preparation rarely seen on stage. Behind the flawless choreography, the members must constantly look out for each other's physical condition. When someone runs into trouble, rehearsal can be paused immediately to ensure everyone remains safe before resuming work. Following the incident, concern remained focused on Jimin's condition leading up to the main concert in Chicago. While the exact severity of the pain was unknown at the time, Jungkook's quick response became one of the most memorable parts of the day. Amidst the rush toward a major performance, the sight of kneeling to check on Jimin proved that some things take precedence over completing a rehearsal. Jungkook was among the first to notice the change in Jimin's expression. Even before the music had completely stopped, his attention was already locked onto his fellow member. Without waiting for the situation to escalate, he immediately signaled the crew to kill the music. This swift reaction shifted the atmosphere within seconds. While Jimin was still trying to manage the discomfort after landing, Jungkook had already read the room. He seemed to grasp that something was wrong with Jimin's movement and refused to let the rehearsal proceed blindly. Particularly notable was how Jungkook signaled the audio team. He raised his hand high to call for a cut while keeping his eyes fixed on The gesture clearly showed that his priority was no longer the performance routine, but ensuring his teammate was safe. Once the music died down, Jungkook moved toward Jimin without delay. He didn't wait for the soundcheck to wrap up before checking on Jimin's state. That quick move made the moment on stage feel intense, especially since it unfolded completely unscripted during practice. Jimin tried to maintain his composure throughout. Nevertheless, the shift in his expression after the jump made the underlying concern visible. Jungkook chose to stay right beside him to make sure the discomfort wouldn't hinder his movements further. For the ARMY watching, Jungkook's sharp instincts became a major talking point. It took him almost no time to spot the issue. From a mere glance at Jimin's face, he took charge and called for the music to stop. The occurrence showed that Soundcheck isn't just about perfecting a performance. Amid the pressure to maintain sharp choreography and high energy, physical safety remains the top priority. Jungkook's decision to stop the music illustrated how unexpected moments can instantly rearrange priorities. Ultimately, it wasn't just the choreography that stole the spotlight during day one soundcheck in Chicago. Jungkook's spontaneous reaction to Jimin's discomfort became the primary focus. As the music stopped and Jungkook checked on Jimin, fans were united in wanting just one thing: to know that Jimin would be completely fine before hitting the main stage. After the incident passed, the remaining question was how Jimin felt once the soundcheck officially ended. Whether the pain was just a temporary sting or required further medical attention remained a topic of concern. What was certain was that the brief event was enough to put Y on high alert ahead of the Chicago show. Fan concern naturally didn't vanish. Once the music stopped and the stage quieted down. In fact, after the soundcheck concluded, Jimin's condition remained a major question mark. The visible discomfort during his Landing left many wondering if he would be able to move normally afterward. This was especially concerning because it happened while Jimin was in the middle of crucial concert preparations. Soundchecks serve as the final opportunity for members to fine-tune choreography, vocals, stage positions, and stamina. Therefore, any pain in the ankle area could not simply be brushed aside. Even so, there was no way to determine the severity of Jimin's condition based solely on that brief moment. While he clearly winced in pain, that alone wasn't enough to confirm an actual injury. His true physical status could only be confirmed through proper examination and official updates. Meanwhile, Jungkook's swift intervention remained the highlight of the event for many. Upon seeing Jimin's expression change, he immediately called for the music to cut and rushed to his side. His reaction served as a stark reminder of how fast things can change on stage when a member experiences discomfort. Army's attention now shifts to Jimin's performance for the main Chicago concert. Fans hope the pain experienced during won't hinder his preparation or stage presence, especially given that Jimin's choreography demands immense balance, leg strength, and stamina. If Jimin performs with his usual energy, the soundcheck moment may just be remembered as a brief hiccup before the show. However, if he appears to modify certain moves or receive special accommodations on stage, fans will undoubtedly keep a close eye on his ankle. For now, Jimin's condition following the soundcheck remains unconfirmed, and there is no reason to jump to conclusions from a single moment. What is clear, however, is that prompt decision to halt the music caused Army to pay even closer attention to Jimin's well-being heading into the main show in Chicago.